Good morning, everyone. And welcome to CJU 17. So we have about 1,100 people here today. As usual, kind of a record sellout. We have a great mix of advertisers and publishers, and we've got a strong representation from agencies as well. We also have 100 new publishers attending for the first time, actually over 100 new publishers, and over 100 new advertisers attending for the first time. Welcome to CJU. There's old blood and there's new blood. We also have, I'd like to recognize the people who've taken like the extra long trip here from around the globe. We have people from about over 20 countries. We have people from the various countries in Europe. We have folks from Canada, which I'm not sure is a really long way away, but we have a lot of friends and a big contingent from Canada. And we have people coming from as far away as Russia, India, China, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Brazil. I won't name the rest, but thank you for coming, and thanks for taking the long trip. So there is a lot I could talk about, and some people think I talk too much, so I'm going to try to keep it to what's most important. What we think is one of the most critical opportunities that will drive the health and the growth in the channel is enabling both advertisers and publishers to understand and market to consumers at the individual level. Now that's really the holy grail in marketing, and certainly that's been a big push in digital, and it's been a challenge. But quite frankly, affiliates behind. Right? I think we all know that. I actually think we have the opportunity to catch up and even potentially lead. So one of the major challenges that's limited our ability to market at the one-to-one level is really the scale, accuracy, and persistency of the data that's needed. So we all know the numbers in terms of how consumers behave with devices, browsers, email addresses, the fact that a lot of purchasing is still done in store, certainly in retail. CJ is stepping up to the challenge of customer recognition by combining the technology and data assets of our two sister companies with ours. Conversant, which is the leader in digital CRM marketing technology, and Epsilon, which is a leader in email and loyalty technology. By combining our technology and data assets, we're able to continuously create, validate, and enrich those profiles with the scale and accuracy that's needed. So I used to watch $6 Million Man. I think that was in the 70s. I don't know, yeah, 70s. And the saying was, we have the technology, Jim. And we do have the technology. That's probably over most people's heads. But we have the technology. So what do we have today? What assets are we working with? We're working with tremendous assets. So if you look at the US, we have 160 million individual profiles, reaching the vast majority of shoppers in the US. We're growing those profiles every day, globally, specifically in Europe. We have a cross-device to individual match rate, verified match rate, of 96%. And we can precisely match 70 to 90% of advertisers' customer records, both offline and online, with our verified names and addresses. So we got the stuff, arguably like nobody else. So the question is, what are we doing with it? What have we done, and where are we headed? I think we've done a fair amount, arguably a lot in the last year. And our goal is to build on that momentum, to accelerate that momentum. So we launched Affiliate Customer Insights last year. That allows us to holistically understand the affiliate customer and holistically understand the channel like never before. We plugged in the hole and cross device that's existed now for about 6 years. Right? And we have a plan for end-to-end personalization. So I'll get into a little detail on each one of those. Not too much, just sufficient, hopefully. So as I said, well, I didn't say this. If you look at the ability to understand transactions and at the channel level, that's been relatively easy in the recent past, right? If you want to understand AOV, frequency, lifetime value, by search, by direct load, by affiliate, et cetera, that's doable. What's been hard and what's been the challenge and what's been the opportunity is to tie all those omni-channel transactions to a single consumer, right? So you can holistically understand what the affiliate customer is worth and what the channel is doing, inside and outside. You can understand who's truly new, who's truly repeat, and what has the role been for affiliate. And you can understand how does affiliate compare to other channels on those key metrics. So what I have here behind me is an aggregation of retailer data that has been, with retailers that have been using ACI, right? And I think some of this information should be new news for everybody, because this data is hard to get after. So what have we learned? That the affiliate channel drives 16% more new customers than any other channel. Did you know that? At least in the retail environment, that's what we're seeing. And then when that customer is acquired, they're spending 30% more in total than any other channel. Lapsed customers, meaning I haven't bought from your brand in the last year. There's a big leaky bucket out there. This is a very important segment. An amazing number. Affiliate drives 100% more reactivations than any other channel. And when they reactivate, they spend 45% more. You guys should be like falling off your seats and going, holy mackerel. My son told me I'm the only one who uses holy mackerel, and that's because I watched Batman and Robin back in the 70s. The other thing is, from a repeat perspective, obviously if you're gonna be higher on new and higher on lapsed, you're gonna be lower on repeat. I don't think that's a bad thing. But even on a repeat basis, from a revenue perspective, is 30% higher. So what does that mean? Well, first of all, I'm not joking in the sense that this should be surprising because people do not have this data and they underestimate affiliate, right? The affiliate channel is critical and important. And there's an argument that the affiliate consumer is a massively prolific consumer. That's what the data says. We didn't make up this data. We didn't know this data would be what it is. The other thing is in terms of practical terms, for the advertisers who are using ACI, they can get this information specifically to their business. And they can understand it specifically to their publisher, right? So they can understand the true value of this channel, invest in it appropriately, build the right kinds of programs, drive more growth, drive smarter growth. And so I'm also proud to say that we are now moving or extending affiliate customer insights from the retail vertical over to the travel vertical. Cross-device. So if you look at the numbers, about 6 years ago, there was a stair-step change in smartphone penetration, and there was kind of a commensurate change with mobile usage. And that fundamentally changed the nature of using devices in the shopping journey. And that gap, in terms of understanding and tracking, has existed for 6 years. So we plugged that gap using our individual profiles, right? So we're able to tie a conversion from one device or browser to a click on a different device or browser. It sounds really simple, right? It's actually very hard and very hard to do it well. We launched that capability in May, and I'm very pleased to say that today, in relatively short months, we have over 50% of our advertisers cross-device enabled. And we'd like to see the other 50%. So what are we learning? Now this data is very new, right? So because we just started this in May. This is the last 2 months of data aggregated for those cross-device enabled advertisers. So what do we learn at a high level? Cross-device transactions, arguably consumers, are not the same as single device. At a high level, that's what it says. So if you look at click-to-conversion times, it's 170% longer for cross-device consumer transactions than single device. If you look at AOV, they're substantially different. If you look at mobile to desktop, it's 190% higher than single device. If you look at desktop to desktop, it's 90% higher. Think about work and home. So what does that mean? That means that this is a really high-value group of consumers, or certainly a high-value set of transactions. What it means is that these consumers are, generally speaking, highly consideration-driven, and based on our data, very content-driven. But it also means it's an opportunity for growth, to exploit the partnerships you have now, add partnerships to meet these needs. It means better offers. It means smarter thoughts around your mix to drive smarter growth. That will always be my theme because that's what we're trying to do. But I also think it also means a few other things. Because we've better aligned the incentive between publishers and advertisers, I think you're going to see more support from publishers. And I actually think you're going to see more innovation in the mobile area in general, which we all want to see. Personalization. So again, objectives are very simple. Getting them done are a lot harder. But our objective is very simple. Every time a consumer goes to a publisher website, in real time, we recognize that consumer as a customer or prospect, and in real time, we recommend an offer or a message that delivers on the objectives for both or improves outcomes for the advertiser, publisher, and the consumer, right? Pretty simple, not so easy to do, but we're on a mission to get it done. What's on our roadmap right now? So we're starting with new, lapsed, and repeat. We're going into beta this month. New includes site visitation history. Lapsed and repeat includes purchase history and things like loyalty membership. So hopefully you understand we have the assets. We got to do some engineering things. We can get it done. There's an argument that the harder part may be how to introduce this into affiliate. I think there's going to be a lot of education. The uniqueness of the affiliate model, because it's a partnership model, introduces some interesting complexities and things to think about. So we will move we'll move aggressively, but I will tell you we'll move prudently. Geo-targeting, for me, that's like mom and apple pie. Makes all the sense in the world. It's not as ubiquitous as you would think it would be from a capability perspective. So we think we have the opportunity to introduce scale around geo-targeting. That improves yields for publishers, improves conversion for publishers, obviously for advertisers as well. And from an advertiser perspective, there's a lot of things they would promote more smartly, and even promote things that they don't promote today, they can do with geo-targeting, which again, brings growth to the channel. And then finally, we're going to be introducing demographics and life stage information. I think most people know what demographics are. Life stages like new mover, having a baby, that kind of thing. So that's kind of where we're headed and the things that we've done. Again, there's a lot we can talk about in terms of opportunity in affiliate, but we think another huge opportunity, is cross-border e-commerce, right? So again, if you look at the numbers by country, they will differ, right? So I won't give you every statistic there. If you just use the US to kind of be representative of the opportunity in general, most of the data says, most of the pundits say, that we will see a doubling of cross-border e-commerce in the US in the next 5 years. Our data shows in the network, and I think this is pretty profound, that we've seen a tripling of cross-border e-commerce in the last 3 years. Now, what's interesting about that is some of it's very purposeful, meaning publishers and advertisers are driving for a goal, and then some of it's just happening organically. What's interesting about that is it means there's a huge latent demand to be met. So we don't want to only like enable it, we want to help accelerate it. And that's what we're trying to do. So if you look at the world, it's a big place, 7.5 billion people out there. What you really need to focus is on digital buyers. There's about 1.4 billion, and that's like squinting with the eye, you know, at the last human being that you might want to market to. Probably in this room, collectively, you'd be interested in half to maybe 60, maybe upwards of 65% of that number, but that number will grow. So that's where we can help you. We can help you understand the markets in terms of where they're going. Importantly, we can help you understand what we call consumer interest. What are their proclivities? How do verticals behave? We can help you with logistics and feasibility. That's important to understand in certain markets. We have partners that actually can make that challenge less challenging. From a footprint perspective, we are committed to being in the markets that you want to be in, all right? So today, we reach slightly less than 700 million digital buyers. That number's up about, I think, 70 to 80 million in the last year. And importantly, because there's numbers out there everywhere, this number is not conflated with Conversant or Epsilon. This is a raw CJ reach. As part of our goal to accelerate global e-commerce, we will consider strategic partnerships, right? Where they make sense, where we can get a big footprint and do big things. So I'm happy to announce at CJU, because we have not announced it yet, that we've entered a strategic partnership with Interspace, one of the top 2 networks in Japan. And we have entered a strategic partnership with Affilio, the largest network in Brazil and one of the fastest growing networks in LATAM altogether. So we're committed to making this happen. We think this is a huge opportunity. I think we understand that affiliate is a great way to enter a market at a very low cost, at a very low risk to build your business. So before I introduce Parag, I'd say a few things. One is, if you're interested in what I've just said, there's a lot more detail at our sessions. So Jenny Gibson is doing a session on affiliate customer insights. Dee Peters is doing a session on cross-device with a lot more interesting facts than I have. And Scott Ginsberg, who heads pub development, is doing a session on global. And we have this afternoon a global expo that I think is 4 or 5 hours, where we brought in folks from the various markets, our own, publishers from those markets, partners from those markets, in fact, a few advertisers from those markets, to start helping you think about where you should go. I'd urge you to attend. It should be a lot of fun. Plus, I think there's beer there and wine. Last year, I ended with bold and brave together, because I think the affiliate channel is a vibrant channel. I think it has massive potential. It needs to continue to evolve, but it can evolve. But the thing that I've learned over the course of the last 2 years is we actually need each other. The nature of this model is we're all working together. So as we go forward, I urge us to join hands and try to figure things out. And we're smart human beings. We will, right? It's going to be exciting.